Thank you, Frank. All right, we're live, so I'm going to call the meeting of the Glendive City Council to order. If you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of the United States.
Yes.
Okay, Darcy, if you'd like to do the roll call.
Baker,
Here.
Kuhn, Dryden,
Here.
Hedrick,
Here.
Hines, Mitchell,
Here.
Sassy,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Ambulance,
Here.
Finance,
Here.
Police, Public Works.
Here.
All right, the next item is to approve the minutes of the February 18th, 2025 regular council meeting. Could I get a motion for that? Okay, Kevin, in a second. All right, Jason. Any discussion? All right, so we will add the correction that Clyde Mitchell was absent from the council meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes as corrected for the February 18th, 2025 regular council meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any abstaining? Okay. All right, we got Clyde abstaining. He was gone. All right, next to old business. Could I get the Ordinance Committee report? Thank you. Let's see.
The Ordinance Committee met on February 25th, 2025 at 4 o'clock in the council room. In attendance was Mayor Diane, Clyde Mitchell, Doug Baker, Betsy Hedrick, Kevin Thompson, John Center, Frank Cian, and Brendan Heiner was there from the Ranger Review. Agenda item number 1, the final review of ordinances. The committee conducted a final review of all ordinances before submission to the codifiers. The deadline for the submission is February 26th. The mayor will send the final draft of recommendations to the codifiers. Codifiers will have 10 months to a year to complete the layout and return a completed code book to the city. The committee discussed with Frank the use of the USC codes for reference without inserting full verbiage. MCA codes will also be referenced for guidance only. Agenda item number 2, with a review of the Ordinance 4-2025, the committee reviewed the proposed wording of the Ordinance 4-2025. The mayor gave background information and facts on how this will be a savings for the taxpayer. Mayor Diane has also asked the city attorney on legality of the written proposed ordinance. Legal counsel has given the okay. The action would be the committee recommends moving forward with Ordinance 4-2025 at the March 4 full council meeting. Agenda item number 3, review of Resolution 3170. The committee reviewed the proposed language of Resolution 3170. This resolution will take effect immediately and has been okayed for all legal purposes by our city attorney. The action, the committee recommends moving forward with Resolution 3170 at the March 4 full council meeting. Public comment was asked for, none was given. We adjourned at 4:24. The minutes were submitted by myself on the 25th of February.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next item is the Personnel Committee report. Do you have that, Clyde?
Personnel met on February 25th, 4:25, here in the room. Mayor Diane, Betsy Hedrick, Doug Baker, Kevin Thompson, myself, John Center, and Brendan Hyder was here. Agenda 1 was just a reminder that the Glendive City Study Committee will meet on February 27th at 4 p.m. in the council room. It's open meeting for the public, and they were encouraged to attend, and Jason and I attended along with Brendan. Seniors from Dawson County High School will be at City Hall March 26th to learn about the city government. All council members are encouraged to keep that date open so the students can ask them questions. More details will follow. It's FYI. Public comment, Mayor Diane and Kevin Thompson thank all employees who worked so very long and hard in the cold weather to repair the broken water line on Thurston and Dairy. Some worked till about 2:30 a.m. And also, they want to thank all of the dedicated city employees. We adjourned at 4:35, submitted by myself.
All right, thank you, Clyde. All right, the next item on the agenda is public comment, and I have Carrie Berman signed up for public comment. If you could come forward, Carrie, so that we can hear you on the owl. And if you will just state your name and your address and then just wait a second and the owl will recognize you. It takes it a minute to pick up your talking.
For the press release that was issued, there said there would be adequate time for this discussion today, so I am respectfully requesting over 3 minutes for this. I won't take much longer.
Okay.
And I do have copies for everybody because I do have a lot of numbers in.
Okay.
My purpose here today is not to fight what decision you have already made without even listening to public comment. I'm here to lay out the facts, to clarify the incorrect things that were said in the meeting and in the newspaper, and to bring awareness to the public of the numbers. At first, I was upset that the mayor stated in the committee meeting that she had spoken to the county commissioner to be quiet. Why was there no communication to either court? Why not let me know that this was back on the table, or how I see case numbers are going down, or maybe even my suggestions that could possibly save costs? It was after the meeting that evening that an email was sent to me advising me of this. To clarify the comment about there being 31 combined courts out of 56 counties. While it appears this is true, the court administrator's office does not count all of them as combined courts. Many are contracted positions with the judge only and not through city county governments. Additionally, several small towns have it in their incorporation that in order to have city ordinance violations, they must have an MOU with the sheriff's department to cite those citations. These are not really combined courts. This generally occurs in the smaller areas, small counties and towns. The combined courts to compare Dawson County would be Fergus, Richland, and by a stretch, Stillwater counties. In the state of Montana, there are 64 justice courts, 85 city courts, 13 municipal courts. By stating there are 31 combined courts out of 56 counties, then becomes a bit misleading to the public if they aren't aware of the total number of courts there really are in this state. When a judge is out of the office, there must be a sub-judge that is available. Judge Narrison is just one of several that I use. It was stated in the meeting that when I am gone, all of my cases are sent to Stacy. That is not entirely correct. If I have anyone in jail when I am gone, Judge Narrison does only the initial appearance, and that is all. The case remains in city court. The same with orders of protection. She will review the petition, either grant or deny it, and it remains in city court for any further proceedings. It was also stated that Justice Court has a full-time clerk that is a certified judge. That is incorrect. She is the sub-judge for Justice Court while Judge Narrison is out, but she is not certified. The only way to become certified is to be a sitting judge and pass the certification test. That test cannot be taken unless you are a sitting judge. The mayor has stated that she watches the cameras to see how many people go to city court, and some days there are none. We do have people that pay their citations online or call in payments. Many hearings are also held by Zoom. During the meeting, when I watched the recording, I noticed that she leaned over and looked out the window and made a comment that, of course, I was gone for the day. What she didn't know, however, is that I was in a meeting for our annual training conference at that time. While it is true that City Court has fewer cases than Justice Court, let's take a look at why. Justice Court has citations from Highway Patrol, Fish and Game. They also have deputies with the Sheriff's Department that actually write citations. City Court cannot generate cases on its own behalf. Courts do not generate numbers. That is the job of the police department and the city attorney. Crime in Glendive has not gone down. Traffic violations have not gone down. I've looked out into our own parking lot and have seen potential traffic and ordinance violations by our own city employees. I can drive down the street and see parking violations, traffic violations, etc. One day I was even behind a patrol vehicle while we passed 2 cars parked on the wrong side of the street. But let's talk about comparisons so you can understand the numbers from the reports you receive every month from City Court. And this is for City Court only. 2019, we had 856 criminal cases, 37 orders of protection. 2020, we had 496 criminal cases, 27 orders of protection. That was the year that the officers were stated to remain away from vehicles if possible due to COVID. 2021, 678 cases, 47 orders of protection. 2022, 581 criminal cases, 27 orders of protection. Then came a time without any leadership. When search was finally hired. 2023, we went down to 421 cases, and in 2024, 384 cases. So that's 500 less cases in 5 years. So compare those numbers to a few others with similar populations or similar areas. Glendive has a population of 4,796. Dillon is about 600 less than us. Their criminal cases for last year were 602. Ours was 384. I have listed several other ones for you to review. I'm not going to read every single one because you won't remember it and won't understand them. You can look at the charts that I have provided. But I've gone back to 2022 for those cases. So look where the numbers should be coming from. All this work on the ordinances that you've been doing to get stuff to the codifiers, 5 city ordinance violations were written last year. 5. Yes, the numbers are going down in city court, but there's a direct reflection of lack of charges being brought forth by the police departments. If case numbers are going down, why do we have a police department that is full? Why not consolidate the police department with the sheriff's office? If one is combined, combine both. We all know crime and traffic violations are happening within the city limits. Is it a lack of training or a lack of patrol? What's the issue? The article also stated that the current budget for city court is approximately $112,000, and by combining the courts, the city would save over $100,000. Tell me how that's possible. There's absolutely no way it'll cost the city less than $12,000 to buy the courts. The city will have expenses of the current building now. The city will have to pay the JP. The county will prorate all expenses such as electricity, heat, building costs, supplies, time of the clerk, etc. I reviewed the agreement with Fergus County and the city of Lewistown for their combined courts. In fiscal year 2021, the city had to pay the county $45,000, and the cost goes up $5,000 every single year in the contract, and the county is still losing money. So minds have been made up on this, so it honestly doesn't matter what I say or what anyone else says. The public barely had a chance to even hear about this before this meeting to voice approval or concerns. Please do not take advantage of the fact that people voted you into this office. They trusted you and put their faith in you by electing you. It is your responsibility to listen to them. Don't forget to humanize those people that you represent. These decisions are for the entire community. Remember that government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. It is a very humbling experience to be a public servant. Don't take advantage of that and don't take it for granted. I'm tired of the constant barrage happening. I'm tired of being watched on the camera to see if I'm in or not. The professional thing to do is call or email. And I'm tired of the 3 branches of government not working together as we once did. And I have copies for you also.
Thank you. Okay, the next person signed up for comment is Carrie Keller.
I wanted to make a comment about a statement you had made about ordinances and you jumping right in, and I kind of took offense to the way you worded that pretty much that the people that came to you about problems with the ordinances, that we gave you misinformation. The ordinances that I was talking about are ones that have NCA codes that haven't existed since 1989, and none of those have even been looked at. And the next comment was pretty much about how you wanted to bring the high schoolers in here to teach them how the government is properly run, unlike the adults that are too late to learn. I'm not an idiot. I'm actually educated, and I'm not too late to learn anything. And I have yet to know anybody that is not. That was very offensive the way you said that. And I think you owe everybody an apology on how you worded that completely. That was so wrong. And then the next thing I wanted to say, is I'm all for consolidation of city and county commissioners manage their government. You want to talk about saving us money? The best way to save us money is get rid of all the hoopla we have going on. The police department is completely wasted money, $1.5 million. You guys keep increasing it like it's going out of style. You have dispatchers that are replayed as dual pay. They're not in uniform on the streets. Waste of money. You have a clerk and then an assistant. You don't need both of them. You hired yourself a finance manager. Get one of them. $6,000 a month. We could easily be saving right off the bat. Quit wasting my tax money. That's all you guys are doing. Thanks.
Thanks for your comment. Okay, I don't have anybody else signed up for comment, but was there anyone else who wanted to make comment? No one else? All right, then we'll move on with the agenda. The next item is new business. It is the second reading of ordinance number 02/2025 solicitors. So bear with me, it's a little bit long. All right, ordinance number, oh wait, first I gotta get a motion. Okay, and second? All right, Mike, so we got Betsy and Mike making the motion. All right, so first I'll read the ordinance, and then if we have any discussion about it, we can talk about it. So this is ordinance number 02/2025, an ordinance amending Title III Business Licenses and Regulations, Chapter 4 Solicitors, Section 3-4-1 through 3-4-5. Glendive City Codes in the City of Glendive to Chapter 111 Peddlers, Itinerant Merchants, and Solicitors. Chapter 111 Peddlers, Itinerant Merchants, and Solicitors. Section 110-01 Definitions. For the purpose of this chapter, the following definitions shall apply unless the context clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. Business, the business carried on by any person who is an itinerant merchant, peddler, or solicitor as defined in this section. Goods, merchandise of any description whatsoever and includes, but is not restricted to, wares and foodstuffs. Itinerant merchant, any person, whether as owner, agent, or consignee, who engages in a temporary business of selling goods in the city and who, in the furtherance of such business, uses any building, structure, vehicle, or any place within the city. Peddler, any person not an itinerant merchant who travels from place to place by any means carrying goods for sale or making sales or making deliveries or without traveling from place to place sells or offers goods for sale from any public place within the city. Solicitor, any person who travels by any means from place to place taking or attempting to take orders for sale of goods to be delivered in the future or for service to be performed in the future. A person who is a solicitor is not a peddler. 110-02 license requirement. Any person who is an itinerant merchant, peddler, or solicitor shall obtain a license before engaging in such activity in the city. B, the fee for the license required by this chapter shall be set from time to time by the Glendive City Council. C, no license issued under this chapter shall be transferable. D, all license issued under this chapter shall expire 90 days after the date of issuance thereof. 110-03 application procedure. All applicants for licenses required by this chapter shall file an application with the city treasurer. This application shall be signed by the applicant if an individual, or by all partners if a partnership, or the president if a corporation. The applicant may be requested to provide information concerning the following items. Number 1, the name and address of the applicant. Number 2A, the name of the individual having management authority or supervision of the applicant's business during the time that it is proposed to be carried on in the city. B, the local address of such individual. C, the permanent address of such individual. D, the capacity in which said individual will act. Number 3, the name and address of the person, if any, for whose purpose the business will be carried on, and if a corporation, the state of incorporation. Number 4, the time period or periods during which it is proposed to carry on an applicant's business. Number 5A, the nature, character, and quality of the goods and services to be offered for sale or delivered. B, if goods, their invoice value, and whether they are to be sold by sample as well as from stock. C, if goods, where and by whom such goods are manufactured or grown, and where such goods are at the time of application. Number 6, the nature of the advertising proposed to be done for the business. 7, whether or not the applicant or the individual identified in Division A2, A above, or the person identified in Division A, number 3, has been convicted of any crime or misdemeanor, and if so, the nature of each offense and the penalty assessed for each offense. B, applicants for peddler or solicitor licenses may be required to provide further information concerning the following items, in addition to that requested under Division A above. Number 1, a description of the applicant. Number 2, a description of any vehicle proposed to be used in the business, including its registration number, if any. C, all applicants for licenses required by this chapter shall attach to their application, if required by the city, credentials from the person, if any, for who the applicant proposes to do business, authorizing the applicant to act as such representative. D, applicants who propose to handle foodstuffs shall also attach to their application, in addition to any attachments required under Division C, a statement from a licensed physician dated not more than 10 days prior to the date of the application, certifying the applicant to be free of contagious or communicable disease. 110.04 Standards for issuance. A, upon receipt of an application, an investigation of the applicant's business reputation and moral character shall be made. B, the application shall be approved unless such investigation discloses tangible evidence that the conduct of the applicant's business would pose a substantial threat to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. In particular, tangible evidence that the applicant, 1, has been convicted of a crime of moral turpitude, or 2, has made willful misstatements on the application, or 3, has committed prior violations of ordinances pertaining to itinerant merchants, peddlers, solicitors, and the like, or 4, has committed prior fraudulent acts, or 5, has a record of continual breaches of solicited contracts, will constitute valid reasons for disapproval of an application. 110.05 Revocation procedure. Any license or permit granted under this chapter may be revoked by the city treasurer after notice and hearing pursuant to the standards of 11.06. Notice of hearing for revocation shall be in writing, setting forth specifically the grounds of the complaint and the time and place of the hearing. Such notice shall be mailed to the licensee at the last known address at least 10 days prior to the date set for the hearing. 110.06 Standards for revocation. A license granted under this chapter may be revoked for any of the following reasons. A, any fraud or misrepresentation contained in the license application, or B, any fraud, misrepresentation, or false statement made in connection with the business being conducted under the license, or C, any violation of this chapter, or D, conviction of the licensee of any felony or conviction of the licensee of any misdemeanor involving moral turpitude, or E, conducting the business license in an unlawful manner or in such a way as to constitute a menace to the health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the public. 110.07 Appeal procedure. Any person aggrieved by a decision under 110.04 or 110.06 shall have the right to appeal to the Glendive City Council. This appeal shall be taken by filing with the City Council within 14 days after notice of the decision has been mailed to such person's last known address, a written statement setting forth the ground for appeal. The Glendive City Council shall set the time and place for a hearing, and notice of such hearing shall be given to such person in the same manner as provided in 110.05. B, the order of the Glendive City Council after the hearing shall be final. 110.08, exhibition of identification. A, any license issued to an itinerant merchant under this chapter shall be posted conspicuously in or at the place named therein. In the event more than one place within the town shall be used to conduct the business license, separate licenses shall be issued for each place. B, the city treasurer shall issue a license to each peddler or solicitor licensed under this chapter. The license shall contain the words licensed peddler or licensed solicitor, the expiration date of the license, and the number of the license. The license shall be kept with the licensee during such time they are engaged in the business licensed. 110.09, city policy on soliciting. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the city that the occupants of the residences in the city shall make the determination of whether solicitors shall be or shall not be invited into their respective residences. 110.01, notice regulating soliciting. A, notice of the refusal of invitation to solicitors to any resident shall be given on a weatherproof card, approximately 3 by 4 inches in size, exhibited upon or near the main entrance door to the residence, indicating the determination by the occupant, containing the applicable words as follows. No solicitors invited. B, the letters shall be at least 1/3 inch in height. For the purpose of uniformity, the card shall be provided by the chief of police to persons requesting at the cost thereof. C, the card so exhibited shall constitute sufficient notice to any solicitor of the determination by the occupant of the residence of the information contained thereon. 110.11, duty of solicitors to ascertain notice. A, it shall be the duty of every solicitor upon going into any premises in the city upon which a residence is located to first examine the notice provided for in 110.1, if any is attached, and be governed by the statement contained on the notice. If the notice states no solicitors invited, then the solicitor, whether registered or not, shall immediately and peacefully depart from the premises. B, any solicitor who has gained entrance to any residence, whether invited or not, shall immediately and peacefully depart from the premises when requested to do so by the occupant. 110.12, prohibited solicitation. It is hereby declared to be unlawful and shall constitute a nuisance for any person to go upon any premises and ring the doorbell upon or near any door, or create any sound in any manner calculated to attract the attention of the occupant of such residence for the purpose of securing an audience with the occupant thereof, and engage in soliciting in defiance of the notice exhibited at the residence in accordance with the provisions in 110.10. So is there any discussion about that? Oh, here's my glasses. All right, so this will be a roll call vote because it is an ordinance. So if you want to take the roll call vote, Darcy, we can vote on this ordinance.
B. Baker,
Aye.
Hedrick,
Aye.
Dryden,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Hines, Sassy, Thompson, Kuhn. Motion passes 7-4-0 against.
All right, the next item is a second reading of ordinance 03/2025 curfews. Can I get a motion for that? Okay, Betsy, and a second, Jason, it looks like. All right. I'll read the ordinance, and then we'll discuss it and vote on. This is ordinance number 03/2025 2025, an ordinance amending Title V Police Regulations, Chapter 4, Minors, Section 5-4-1, Glendive City Codes of the City of Glendive to curfew. Definitions. A. For the purpose of this section, the following definitions shall apply unless the context clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. Number 1, curfew hours. A. 11 p.m. on any Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday until 6 o'clock a.m. the following day. And B. 12:01 until 6 a.m. on any Saturday or Sunday. Number 2, emergency, an unforeseen combination of circumstances or the resulting state that calls for immediate action. The term includes, but is not limited to, a fire, natural disaster, an automobile accident, or any situation requiring immediate action to prevent serious bodily injury or loss of life. Number 3, establishment, any privately owned place of business operated for a profit to which the public is invited, including but not limited to any place of amusement or entertainment. Number 4, guardian. A person who under court order is the guardian of a person, of a minor, or B, a public or private agency with whom a minor has been placed by a court. Number 5, minor, any person under 18 years of age. Number 6, operator, any individual, firm, association, partnership, or corporation operating, managing, or conducting any establishment. This term includes the members or partners of an association or partnership and the officers of a corporation. Number 7, a parent, a person who is a natural parent, adoptive parent, or step parent of another person, or B, at least 18 years of age and authorized by a parent or guardian to have the care and custody of a minor. Number 8, public place, any place to which the public or a substantial group of the public has access and includes but not limited to streets, highways, in the common area of schools, hospitals, apartment houses, office building, transport facilities, and shops. Number 9, A, linger or stay on. Number B, fail to leave premises when requested to do so by a police officer or the owner, operator, or other person in control of the premises. Number 10, serious bodily injury. Bodily injury that creates a substantial risk of death, that causes death, serious permanent disfigurement, or protracted loss or impairment of the function of any bodily member or organ. Number B, offenses. Number 1, a minor commits an offense when they remain in a public place or on the premises of any establishment within the city during curfew hours. Number 2, a parent or guardian of a minor commits an offense if he knowingly permits or by insufficient control allows the minor to remain in any public place or on the premises of any establishment within the city during curfew hours. Number 3, the owner, operator, or any employee of any establishment commits an offense if they knowingly allow a minor to remain upon the premises of the establishment during curfew hours. C, exemptions. Number 1, it is an exemption to Division B that the minor was A, accompanied by the minor's parent or guardian, B, on an errand at the direction of the minor's parent or guardian without any detour or stop, C, in a motor vehicle involved in interstate travel, D, engaged in an employment activity or going to or returning home from an employment activity without any detour or stop, E, involved in an emergency, F, on the sidewalk abutting the minor's residence or abutting the residence of a next-door neighbor if the neighbor did not complain to the police department about the minor's presence. G, attending an official school, religious, or other recreational activity supervised by adults and sponsored by the city, a civic organization, or a similar entity that takes responsibility for the minor, or going to or returning home from without any detour or stop, an official school, religious, or other recreational activity supervised by adults and sponsored by the city, a civic organization, or other similar entity that takes responsibility for the minor. H, exercising First Amendment rights protected by the United States Constitution, such as free exercise of religion, freedom of speech, and the right of assembly, or I, married or had been married or had disabilities of minor removed in accordance with state law. Number 2, it is a defense to prosecution under Division B3 that the owner, operator, or employee of an establishment promptly notified the police department that a minor was present on the premises of the establishment during curfew hours and refused to leave. D, enforcement. Before taking any enforcement action under this section, a police officer shall ask the apparent offender's age and the reason for being in a public place. The officer shall not issue a citation or make an arrest under this section unless the officer reasonably believes that an offense has occurred and that based on any response and other circumstances, including investigation additional to the actions required by this division, D, as a reasonable person would deem necessary, no exemption in Division C is present. So any discussion on the curfew? Yes, Kevin.
The curfew hours shouldn't be the Friday and Saturday, not Saturday and Sunday.
Well, because it starts at 12:01.
The Friday's totally left off in the.
Well, so Friday night after midnight is Saturday. So it's a minute after midnight, so it's Saturday. And then Saturday night, a minute after midnight is Sunday. Dang it, Kevin. Well, I'm guessing that they knew what they were doing. I mean, we got this from the codifiers, but so it's after midnight, it becomes a new day. I guess is why doesn't say Friday. Any other discussion, or can anyone else explain that better or in a different way? All right, then we need a roll call vote for approval of ordinance 03/2025.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Kuhn. Baker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Hines. Sassy. Thompson. Motion passes 7-4-0 against.
All right, the next item is the first reading of ordinance 04/2025, designation of justice of the peace. Can I get a motion for that? Okay, Betsy, in seconds. Okay, Clyde. All right, I'll read the ordinance and we can discuss it and then we can take the roll. Okay, chapter 5. There it is. Okay, this is ordinance number 04/2025, an ordinance of the Dawson County Commissioners and the City of Glendive to combine the Glendive City Court and the Dawson County Justice Court. Whereas Montana law, specifically 3-11-2051 MCA, provides cities and towns the authority to designate the county justice of the peace to act as the city judge if the elected justice of the peace resides within the county where the city is situated. And 3-11-205 number 1 MCA further authorizes cities and towns to enter into agreements with counties for provision of such services. Now therefore be it ordained by the Glendive City Council of the City of Glendive that Montana law, specifically MCA 3-10-1014, further authorizes a justice of the peace may act as the city judge upon passage of a city ordinance authorizing the action, and upon approval of the ordinance by resolution of the Board of the Dawson County Commissioners and the Glendive City Council. If the ordinance and the resolution are passed, the city and county shall enter into an agreement for a proportionate payment of the judge's salary as established under 3-10-115 and 3-10-116, and for proportionate reimbursement for the use of facilities. The City of Glendive is requesting the Glendive City Court be combined with the Dawson County Justice Court. Now therefore it be resolved by the Glendive City Council and the Dawson County Commissioners of Dawson County, Montana as follows, Number one, the city has approved an ordinance stating city court and justice court could be combined. The Dawson County Commissioners approve an ordinance stating the city court and the justice court could be combined. Number two, an interlocal agreement to determine the costs and procedures will be approved by both parties. All right, so is there any discussion with the council on this ordinance? Yes, Mike.
Yeah, Mayor, the commissioners will take up this resolution later. They haven't done that yet.
They didn't do it today. I was told they will do it. I'm meeting with the JP, the Justice Court Judge, tomorrow. We're going to hammer out some of the details of the cost and the reimbursement, and we pay for one training. So we're going to go through that. And so my understanding is the commissioners will take it up at their next meeting.
And then the effective date, would that be the end of the calendar year? In other words, the budget for this year would still budget for city, if this passes,
Right.
would still budget for city court through December.
Yes, because we are keeping the court open until the end of Judge Berman's term. Last year when we looked at it, that was something she brought forward, and I feel that we need to follow that. So we're doing it because, as I said, I want to make sure that everyone has plenty of notice that this is happening. We weren't trying to blindside anyone or ambush anyone with this information. We're giving plenty of time because this will take time. There's documents, there's all kinds of things that'll have to be done. So we do need to plan ahead.
Yeah, just, if at some point, I don't know, city, county, if this passes, then months, even maybe a year or years from now, they wanted to reverse this, they would go through the same process with the resolution.
I'm really not sure how to reverse it, Mike,
Okay.
but I did make a verbal agreement when I met with the commissioners that we would look at this every 2 years, because if it turns out, that the cases are really increasing and that the city needs to pay more, we would certainly want to be a responsible party. And I think looking at it every 2 years and determining what the costs and the fees will be, because we just, you really can't predict how that's going to happen. So that we did verbally agree to that, and that will be hammered out tomorrow at our meeting, and that'll all be in writing, and we'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of it.
Just one more question, Mayor, thank you. This says ordinance 04/2025. That's the new number for this. So I'm a little, it's called a resolution. Resolutions we vote on once, I think, and ordinances we vote on twice. So I guess that's what I'm asking.
Right.
Is this a
MC
we one and done today? Is that what we've got?
will be done today. But we do have to have 2 readings of the ordinance. And this, what came from the code, that we'd had to have a resolution and an ordinance. And the commissioners have to do the same. They have to pass a resolution and an ordinance. It's just in the MCA. So, I mean, to me, it seems redundant, but I'm
Okay,
not a lawyer,
Okay.
so.
thank you.
Yeah, any other questions about it? All right, well, we need to do a roll call vote on this ordinance.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Dryden,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
Baker,
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Hines. Sassy.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-4, 0 against.
All right, the next item is to get a motion for resolution 3170. Could I get a motion for that? Okay, Clyde, and a second? Okay, that's. All right, I'll read the resolution and then if there's any discussion, we can discuss it then. So this is resolution number 3170, a resolution of the city of Glendive, City Council designating the Justice of the Peace of Dawson County to act as the Glendive City Judge, fixing the funding for such judge, and providing for an agreement for the payment of costs, salaries, and training expenses. Whereas Montana law, specifically 3-11-2051 MCA, provides cities and towns the authority to designate the county justice of the peace to act as the city judge if the elected justice of the peace resides within the county where the city is situated, and whereas 3-11205 number 1 MCA further authorizes cities and towns to enter into agreements with counties for the provision of such services, and whereas nothing in the city ordinances or in Montana law prohibits a city or town from authorizing and designating the local justice of the local justice court, as the official city court as recorded in Glendive Ordinances 191 through 197, Chapter 9, City Court, and whereas MCA 3-10-1014 further authorizes a justice of the peace may act as a city judge upon passage of a city ordinance authorizing the action and upon approval of the ordinance by resolution of the Board of County Commissioners. If the ordinance and the resolution are passed, the city and the county shall enter into an agreement for a proportionate payment of the judge's salary as established under 3-10-115 and 3-10-116, and for proportionate reimbursement for the use of facilities, and whereas Montana law, specifically 3-11-2052 MCA, states the offices of the city judge and the justice of the peace may be combined if a justice of the peace is authorized in a city pursuant to 3-10-101, and whereas the city of Glendive is requesting city court be combined with Dawson County Justice Court. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Glendive, Montana as follows. The city has approved an ordinance stating city court and justice court will be combined. An interlocal agreement to determine the costs and procedures will be approved by both parties. So is there any questions or discussions about that? Well, I think we can call for the roll call vote on this resolution.
Hines. Baker.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Sassy.
Aye.
Thompson. Hedrick.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-4-0 against.
All right, thank you. The next item is to get a motion to approve the accounts payable claims of $190,505.56. Could I get a motion for that? All right, Jason, in a second. Okay. I got Kevin for a second.
It's okay.
All right, good. All right, so is there any discussion? All in favor of approving the accounts payable claims of $190,505.56, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the next item is the February payroll of $324,632.96. Could I get a motion for that? Okay, Kevin, in a second. All right, Mike. Any discussion about that? All right, all in favor of approving the February payroll of $324,632.96, say aye.
Aye.
All right, anyone abstaining? No. All right, next we have the department head comments. Did you have anything, Mr. Rubus? No. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Center, how about you? Do you have anything from the finance department?
We provided all the information requested by the auditor last month, and I think they're complete with that. They are now going to start looking at individual sample transactions and testing that type of thing, so that'll be happening in a couple of weeks. And then we see where they're at in terms of questions. Schedule to issue a positive plan. So I think everything is going smoothly there. It was both for this and my next point is a budget. It was good timing for me to come in when I did because it's right at the beginning of both of these processes. So it's a good learning experience for me and good to see it from beginning to end. From Glendive's perspective. So the second point is the budget for next year. We have already kicked that off. At the end of last month, I sent out requests for preliminary information to all the department heads. And so over the next month, a little over a month, we'll be putting that together. And as most of you know, this process is going to wend and wind its way over the next few months until the beginning of September when we issue our final budget approval. And so I'm working really hard to reach out to the departments and let them know we're here to help them with numbers, with projections, with questions they have about along the budget, and trying to give them plenty of time to incorporate their pieces of the budget. Our accounting firm is going to continue providing some initial estimates for payroll and for capital budgets. So those will get worked in a little bit later, but there's plenty of time to look at that, hopefully, and tweak as they see fit. It's ultimately it's their budget that will be brought forward for their approval. I do have one request for you tonight, not for approval, but just something to put on the radar. I know for the last couple of years or so, the council has wanted to see any kind of transfer or budget overage that was occurring at the object level. I am proposing to you that we raise that up a level to the account level. One, to give the department heads a little bit more flexibility in just addressing unexpected stuff that happens during the year. The budget never happens exactly as we plan it. And as we move into the final months of the budget year, it could get really onerous and impractical trying to bring every one of those object level overages to you for approval. And if that's what you want to continue doing, we'll do that. I would just suggest thinking about bringing it up to the account level. So like just using the police department as an example, they have two different accounts. They have law enforcement administration. They have the criminal investigation side. So Katie and, her management team could manage under that entire umbrella of each of those accounts. So if their operating supplies are over budget, well, maybe their office supplies are under budget and they would have the freedom to move those funds around in that account. If the account itself goes over, then that's when we would bring it to you for approval. So as we continue on the process, just think about that. If you have questions, that's my proposal. It's not something we need to decide tonight, but I think it would really give the departments a lot more flexibility. It would lessen the burden on you to look at all that stuff at a detail level. And yeah, so we'll continue to talk about that.
All right.
But that's all for me.
Go ahead and ask questions.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, John, thanks. Yeah, thanks for your report, by the way. Haven't had one for a while from that jurisdiction. The audit this year, is this a federal audit?
It is.
Okay, you may have said that, I didn't hear, but.
I did not say that,
Okay.
but that's a good point. Since we spent over the threshold of federal grant monies, we are required to have a federal audit. So in a nutshell, in addition to a regular audit, they're going to be looking very closely at how we brought in the grant funds, how we spent them, how we accounted for them, the documentation. And a lot of it is tying back to the worksheet that the engineers maintain. It's called the Uniform Status of Funds Worksheet. And it shows every advance and every invoice that gets paid out of that fund. And so that's what they're looking for to match that up.
Okay. The timing will be similar to past audits as far as completion and such, and
As far as I know at this
Yeah.
point, yeah.
just one other thing, the item, not to be redundant, that you brought up with the item level versus account level, that's city policy. It's not an ordinance, it's just our policy, but it is a written policy, correct, that would take a
So
change.
it's in a resolution from, I think, 2022.
Okay,
So yes, if you decide to change that, we would either rescind that ordinance or rescind that resolution or update it with the new approval level.
okay, thank you.
Wordage. Right, yeah.
Thank you, John.
Any other questions? All right, then how about you, Mr. Cian?
Yeah. Everything's going pretty decent with us. We made it through that cold snap. We had the one bad water main right there with pretty big in there. -30 out, so the guys did a good job there. Kind of started prepping for spring. Sweetly going. And schedule some new pickup and some parts ready. Like that and put the park on the weekend in. I am paying attention to the pool here too, so that I will list that in the budget. Get there about that. We started the whole projects there last year and want to continue with those and work with the swim team and get some direction from them to continue on with the projects we started last year and kind of work together and make some progress there with the pool. I was been all right, we've been busy. Other than pushing. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll give you an update when we go to the budget, but basically I just told that. And I just told John's on vacation. Yeah, the office next week. So when he gets back, with the two of us gonna meet, we kind of worked together last year. I'll make everybody aware of what the plans are. We did some updates on the restrooms last year. And there was a few things that we didn't finish, we kind of cut just because we're kind of within the budget. So there's a few things in there we'd like to finish up this year. And if we, repairs that need to be done, they're gonna be well more aware. You guys are aware of some of the issues. Pumps are expensive, they take a long time to get. We've had problems getting pumps. We've got 2 new pumps there now. We bought some last year and I am gonna keep that in the budget to get another one. Not gonna get any cheaper. I think that as long as they take to get, let's have one sitting on the shelf, and when we get in that situation, we're not shutting down the pool. We can keep the pool open, we can do a quick switch if we have to, and then keep everything operating the way it should be operating.
Yeah, Frank, besides the pool and I want to say locker room, but besides the pool, at our park, we have finished right now all of our restroom renovation upgrades.
No, we have not. We're still working on some of that.
But is some in the budget for this year?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
And what park we dealing with?
our basic.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for
Yeah,
Mr.?
porta potties there right now that we've been, so it gets too cold to operate and we'll start off the year with that, but it really comes on and get a plumbing, we'll do some plumbing, upgrades. And then from there, we'll hopefully get them open. I'm hoping to spring.
But we don't have a contractor to upgrade the actual physical structure besides the plumbing, is what you're saying.
That's been done.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's got new roofs.
Okay. I thought we could
Yeah,
put that in a couple
we
years
put a
ago.
plumbing for them.
Okay. That's kind of important.
It is in restrooms, yeah. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Cian? All right. How about you, Acting Chief Hills?
Just a couple of things. We still have 2 vehicles, a Dodge Durango and a Ford Explorer that has been in and out of city shop. We had to take our Durango actually to HKT to get it fixed because they couldn't work on it and it's all electrical. HKT called me and told me that it's gonna be about just under $950 to get, basically, the brain box for the electrical. We currently have a part-time dispatch position open. That was a hard one to fill at the time. Part-time. And stats for the month for the Glendive Police Department culture service for 427. And citations issued were 1, not 2, a couple of the restaurants.
Any questions from Ms. Mills? No? All right. How about you, Mary Jo?
Mayor, I just don't have anything to say, but we just continue to feel.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is committee meetings. The street committee will meet March 12th at 4 p.m. and the Cooper will meet March 12th at 4:15 p.m. And so the next item is mayor comments. I do have some comments this time, so bear with me. So I have noticed that the time is flying by. I've been the mayor now for 17 months, and I feel that together we've accomplished a lot, and I hope to complete a number of projects during the remaining 10 months of my term. So we will continue to work to digitize all the records that we can at City Hall. We have many historical items, some of which I hope to bring up out of the basement and display. And I know that sounds funny, but I mean, there are some really interesting things down there. I want everybody to be assured that we do follow all the record retention laws and we will continue to do so. Mr. Center and I met with a representative of the Glendive Job Service yesterday, and they have some new training programs where we might be able to get some workers to help us with some of the tasks of digitizing and things like that at no cost to the city. We'll continue to explore this option as one of my goals is to digitize, preserve, and properly store the city records. That still remains a high priority. We're looking at the expansion of the Triangle Park, the upgrades to the sidewalk to the Bell Street Bridge, improvements to Douglas Street, and the sidewalk project to the fairgrounds. These are all projects we hope to finish this summer. It looks like we have been approved for the grant that I applied for to do the study of Penninger Park. So I was told in the email, you know, we applied for $100,000 to get this study done. It is federal funding, so they did warn me that it could be cut. So I don't want to get too excited about it, but I did get the letter that right now we're approved. So I think that that's a positive thing, and I'll keep you posted as we move through the progress of that. Now, we do have a committee that are going to work out the details for opening the city pool. Sarah Plummer from Makosika Wellness called on Monday, and we talked about the youth tennis program, and Makosika Wellness is going to move forward with a plan to do the youth tennis program. She said the basketball program has just ended. Again, this shows that recreational programs have continued, some with very high participation levels, and none of these programs have come at a cost to city taxpayers. So as Mr. Center said, we have begun the budget process and we work to continue to provide all the services the city offers while keeping the tax burden as low as possible. We intend to have a budget that again puts some money back in reserves while maintaining but not duplicating city services. We're providing information and documents to the auditor. It is a federal audit, and I'm very grateful that we have Mr. Center as the Director of Operations to help us through this process. Now, earlier I asked all departments to limit or eliminate overtime as much as possible. So I do have a little overtime report, and this is for the fiscal year through 2/28. So it's through February. It's January 1st, 2024 to February 28th, 2025, which is 7 months. So in fire, the last year at this time, we were at $40,327.59 in overtime. This year, we are at $15,821.22. This is a decrease of over 60%. So that is good news. The police department last year at this time had spent $86,508.61 in overtime. This year, the overtime is $42,213.98, a decrease of over 51%. So again, a great improvement. Well, again, Public Works does not come out of the general fund, and it's a little bit different situation. They have overtime because we got to clear snow, we got to fix water main breaks. So Public Works last year at this time, their overtime was $54,958.98. This year, it's $52,191.75, which is a decrease of 5%. So all the departments have had a decrease, and I'm proud of everybody for working so hard on that. Then all the ordinance changes were sent to the codifier on February 26th. I hope this project is completed by the end of my term, but if not, the majority of the work has been done for the next mayor. So just as a reminder about the mayor, if you're interested in running for the mayor of Glendive, you can file to run for this position on April 18th, 2025. We will also have 4 council seats open in addition to the mayor position. And then I had a citizen tell me why I don't ever have any fun facts about Glendive. So I found some fun facts that were in our last audit. So our city is 3.14 square miles. We have 44.8 miles of roads, streets, and alleys to maintain. The city has 37 acres of parks, including the Glendive swimming pool. According to this, our population is 4,935 people, and our daily water consumption averages 105,283 cubic feet. So I just want to say that the council and myself are very proud of our city workers. This includes the ambulance service, the fire department, the water and wastewater workers, the police, dispatch, everyone at City Hall, all the public works crews who keep our city and parks looking great. And we do appreciate the pride our city employees have in Glendive and their work and effort to keep Glendive a positive place. This makes a difference to everyone who lives here. So again, thank you to everyone who works for the city. Now, as is the policy, I cannot comment on any active lawsuits, but I thought that perhaps this might be the time to take a couple minutes and explain the MCA and the city policy for requesting public records. I know that usually what happens is someone will email me with the question and they want just a simple record. So what the MCA code is 26-1006, and this is public information requests and fees. So it says that we must retain and publish on a state website the public information requests the agency has received and the agency's response. We're not required to publish requests or responses if it's a simple request or it pertains only to a specific person or property, including requests for vital records, licenses, permits, registrations, supporting documents. So what the city does is we were required by this code 26-1006 that by November, we needed to have on our website a policy and a way to request documents. So we did comply with that. And so for months, we have had a policy for public record requests. And we also have a little thing that the clerk would use to make sure that the request has been completed. So we charge 25 cents per page, and we charge $25 per hour for compiling requests. If the request is under 4 pages or is a simple request, it's less than $1. We just give it to whoever has requested it. We don't charge for the simple requests of 4 pages or less. So we do have a form for people to fill out. And then we ask, if there is a fee, do you want to be notified of the fee in advance? This is something that I think we'll take to the ordinance committee because some of these requests, or at least a recent one, was very lengthy. And I feel that we need to match what the policy of the school and some other agencies are, in that we would give an estimate of the cost of the request, and then we would ask for a fee in advance. Because if we've spent, many hours getting this and thousands of pages of documents, I feel that we need to have that money in advance. The other thing that this code says, and it is letter D, it says a public agency is not required to alter or customize public information to provide it in a form specified to meet the needs of the requesting person. So we collect our documents and our records, you can get them through, we can put them on a jump drive, or we just print them out as a page. We don't collect metadata. We don't collect some of these other items that might be requested, and we're not required to, according to the MCA. And then it says 1C, the public agency may require the requesting person to pay the estimated fee prior to identifying and gathering the requested information. So that's something I think that we need to take forward and change our policy a little bit, just so that we make sure that we get paid before we do a bunch of work. And we only have to provide the documents in the form that we preserve them. So I think that makes it a little simpler for people to understand, and that we do have a policy. It's on our website under forms. So it's there, and if you have a request,